And Joel
Christmas
told me
movies.
he has a bone to pick with you.
Yeah.
With who?
Yeah.
All of you.
Hey, I'm Dane from Tense Machine.
Hey, I'm Mike from Tense Machine. I play drums.
Hey, I'm Brendan. I'm from Tense Machine as well.
Episode 44. Welcome and thank you guys for joining us this beautiful Friday evening in December. How's it going?
Excellent. Thank you very much for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Fantastic.
So I like Mark brought it up before we started recording, but I'm going to dive right into it. So I watched your guys' show that you posted. I think it was, I don't know if you put it up yesterday or today. I'm not too sure, but I think you recorded Wednesday night, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So you guys were talking about your Christmas movies and all that kind of stuff. It was awesome. I sat through the whole thing. And I'm not a bone to pick or anything, but all I was going to say was your rationale to call Die Hard a Christmas movie, if that's going to be the way, like you're missing one of the best Christmas movies out there, which would be Batman Returns. Because there's all that Christmas shit and all the clowns and all that stuff. Fucking Catwoman's in there. Yeah.
No, you got a point. You got a point.
True.
That is a really good point.
And it's another Tim Burton movie. So he's got Scissorhands, Batman Returns, and what was the other one?
Nightmare
Before Christmas.
Yeah.
That's pretty. That's a heavy trilogy.
Right? I think there's like some strategy there, maybe on his behalf, trying to get like those Christmas bucks, royalties or some shit, right?
Smart man.
Man,
Yeah,
and I thought you
definitely
had
makes
something.
sense.
I thought you had something actual interesting to say.
Yeah, well, I think that's interesting. I
No,
like movies.
that's a good pick, though. That's a good pick.
No, for sure. But I thought he was gonna go say something that,
Music
whatever
related?
you guys said. No, whatever the band said, and you would go against it. But okay.
Michelle, that was Michelle Pfeiffer in the Catwoman suit, wasn't that?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
In my opinion, the best Catwoman. In my opinion.
Ooh,
So
Halle
hot.
Berry though.
No.
No,
Michelle Pfeiffer.
I think she kills Halle Berry.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't think I don't know. I didn't think that Halle Berry was all that good in that one. And I normally like Halle Berry and other stuff.
Okay, I wasn't talking about her acting or anything.
Oh, I see. I see. You shameful man.
What? There's nothing wrong with that, is there?
No, not at all.
No. Okay. I'm not objectifying.
I guess we missed it. I'm looking
No,
at a screenshot and it's like a giant Christmas tree. I'm like, how did I miss this?
Of Batman?
Somebody,
Yeah, from Batman. Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
that might have been the one that
Yeah.
somebody posted recently, like a thing on Facebook, and it was like screenshots from a movie, and they were like, okay, well, this has to be a Christmas movie too. And I was trying to think of it the other day. I don't think it was Batman, but it was something like that. So
Uh-huh.
there's lingerers out there.
Yeah. Yeah, for all those diehard Christmas movie fans, I'm going to say that you're missing Batman Returns in there too,
Yeah, for
by
sure.
that logic.
Yeah, good point.
So how long have you guys been doing that podcast?
I think close to like it's definitely getting close to a year that we've been doing the live stream. I don't know, maybe 8 months.
Well, yeah,
9 months.
started in April when everything started going down the toilet as far as like being able to tour and play shows and stuff, and just thinking of ways that we could still interact with the fans. And we just thought about a schedule. It's like, let's just be consistent with it.
Right?
It's going pretty good, I think. It's fun.
Can you see?
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
That's the most
Go ahead.
important part. Like having fun doing it, and that'll reflect in the final result, I think.
Yeah, and I think the hardest part was kind of centering and honing in on how we wanted to do it, like what the format and stuff, because it's easy enough to watch some things that are out there and see what other guys are doing. But it's also, you know, it's going to feel a little bit different. You have to kind of make it your own thing, and you know, definitely do it in a way that doesn't feel kind of forced. And so
Yep.
it's, I think, gotten to a point where we do, you know, we kind of get on, and sometimes we'll end up talking for 45 minutes on something that we had no clue that we were going to talk about. But
Yeah.
you know, we don't get to see each other like we used to, so it's kind of hilarious because we get into that same kind of back and forth as we used to in the van. And so being on the road and driving around and whatnot, you know, you'll end up talking for 3 hours about just nonsense.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that, I think that was kind of part of the idea, was to give, you know, the people that follow the band a little bit more of that insight.
Yeah,
I like it.
exactly. That's
I like
that's kind of like what we're doing here too. You know, it's like it's one thing to talk about the band, you guys, and like promote and everything, which is great, but this is more of just like getting to know you guys on a deeper level, right? Like it's not just I don't know, to see you guys for who you really are. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
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 yeah, of
because
course.
I
because
think the days of like the mystique around like, you know, back in the day, there used to be like this. You kept up this mystique, and you only really saw the band if you went to see them live, and then you
Yeah.
had pictures on the liner notes on an album kind of thing. Well, I think social media's changed that forever, right? And everyone wants that sort of. They want to know a little bit more of the inside workings of things and sort of the more
Yeah.
personal aspect of it, right? So the live stream is obviously that's a good way.
Yeah, I like
Yep.
it. So do you guys do that? Is that on like Facebook or where is it streaming?
We stream through StreamYard. And so we stream to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch right now.
It lets you
I,
do it
I saw that.
simultaneously.
Say what?
It lets you stream to all those platforms
Oh,
simultaneous too, right?
yeah,
So you
yeah.
can blast it out to all of them.
Right.
Yeah,
I
it is.
looked into that, and I don't think Joel and I are quite ready to go live yet. But
No, I
although
think
we
our
don't,
internet's
we
too
don't.
shitty too.
No, it's the same as this.
It is a bit. It
It's-
is a bit scary, like going live, because like anything can happen. But also like it's nice being able to interact with the fan base and friends on there and have people just kind of hop, and it adds that kind of dynamic, which does make it fun.
Yeah.
I know, like I have a gaming stream as well, and sometimes you get like super trolls show up, and they'll like blast things into the comments that you're just like, all right, kind of don't want that in there, sort of things. So you need to kind of work on the fly, but like we're mainly just going, like we do StreamYard, but we're mainly just on Facebook, and that's where all the fan base is because of the Facebook page and also our personal pages as well to bring people in. So I think that's why it kind of works. And just to go with what Brendan was saying, the idea of the mystique is kind of gone from you know, modern day creators. You are getting more of their personality. You are getting more of their actual vibe and essence and what they bring to the table, sort of thing. Because it's not like we can just go back after and just edit it and like
Right.
Instagram. It's not like you take 50 photos and then you post the one. It's like we're just on there being ourselves. And what Dane was saying as well, it's like at 2:30 in the morning, these are the conversations we're probably having in the van,
Yeah.
where we are talking about Christmas movies. And then 2 days later, someone be like, you know, Batman Returns was a Christmas movie. And we're like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, no, I got it. Like,
Well, and we've had the Christmas movie conversation in the van before, because there's a movie that I love that Mike hates, and
I don't
so
hate it.
Which one?
I just
Christmas
think
with the
it's
Cranks.
I just think it's terrible. And
it's not cinematic gold.
no, but it's like the amount of times on touring, it's like get back to the hotel and you're channel surfing and it's like Christmas with the Cranks is on. And you're like, no, we don't need that.
Is
Turn
that
it
a
off.
Disney movie?
Um, that wouldn't surprise. Actually, no, I don't think it is, because I think it's on Netflix. And I think Disney took all of their stuff off, didn't they?
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
So you're saying it's not on Disney Prime? That's what you're saying?
I don't believe.
I'm not going to slip from watching Mandalorian and actually end up on Christmas with the Cranks.
Oh man, but no, I going back to what we were talking about. I agree with that, with what Mike's saying, and I think that the live thing for me, the way that you don't have, you don't get to second guess what you're saying. Um, well, I guess one, it gets to let me say a lot of things that probably would not make it through. The the thought gauntlet, but 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 no, it does, it kind of puts you on your toes. um but it also, like I said, you don't get to really sit and second guess yourself about things. um for me, I think one of the biggest things is for playing the songs. Like I'm definitely a huge culprit for messing up lyrics. Like I'll go into my own little world for a minute and completely rewrite a verse of a song I've been singing for 10 years.
Oh wow.
On purpose?
No, no.
Oh.
I just kind of zone out and and just start singing a different song. But but it's definitely for me been one of those things. It's like, it actually started off, I had notes on the floor that you couldn't see. And so, like, scattered all over the floor, there was just pieces of paper with like the first verse of this song, the second verse of this song, just little cues. And and then, after a couple months of doing that, it's kind of nice. It kept my brain sharp while we weren't touring.
Well,
Does
say
that
Dane keeps the melody though, because there's definitely times like in my in ears when we're playing, where I'll be like, "That's not the words, but that's the sounds. The sounds are there. I'm still
Well, and
feeling
it's the
it."
syllables. It's the
Yeah.
syllables and the melody. It's just normally, and sometimes they're not even words. Sometimes it's like I'll
Just
go a
sounds.
whole verse of like, really drop it dip it how see.
That's one thing we were able to keep from the '90s grunge era. Just make the noises and make
Yeah.
sure the chorus words are there, and then that's how it goes.
Hey, Joel, that's kind of like Alien Fetus.
that's it's like that, and the ending credits to WKRP in Cincinnati. That too. There's no words to that song, which I just found out.
Like legit,
Seriously?
no words.
Legit, if you listen to the ending, so we had Manfred from Elephants and Stars on a
hang
few
on,
weeks
hang
ago.
on. It started before that. It started with Elementals.
Right. So, okay, little backstory is we had Elementals on, and the story here is when Mark sent me the link, like I didn't know who they are, right? I'm stuck in my 90s genre, rock, all that kind of stuff. So Mark sends me like some newer bands that I got to listen to before they come on the show. So they were one of them. Anyways, he sends me the Spotify link, and the first song that played was called Aliens.
Alien Fetus.
Alien Fetus is the first song that came up when he sent me the link, and I was like, what the fuck is this, right? Because it's just like thrash metal screaming. Like I was like, what the fuck? Like I almost second guessing, like, are we really having these guys on here? Like, because I'm not interested in this, right? But Mark didn't know what the hell was going on. He's like, I can understand what they're saying.
Yeah,
Anyways,
because Joel kept sending me message. What is he saying? And I'm like, what do you mean? What do you? I'm not talking to him. No. What is he saying in the song? I was like, are you deaf?
yeah.
You-
So
You speak English, right?
so then we finally figure out that, well, we have him on the show, and I'm telling him, yeah, my introduction to you guys was this song, and they're all laughing. They're like, yeah, every time we fucking play that song, it's different because there's no words to it, and it's just me just fucking screaming for like 2 minutes, right? So we got a kick out of that. We're telling that story to Manfred from Elephants and Stars, and then we got on to, he's like, well, did you know that that's how the ending song to WKRP is? So that just kind of was like, mind fuck right there. But that's, so I looked it up, and if check it out, man, it's legit. There are no words to that song, and what they were trying to do was write a song that sounded like a rock song, right, in that era, but they didn't have any words to go with it. So it's just all a bunch of noises, but it sounds good, man. I like it.
That's
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
You just reminded me. There's an article that went around last week. There was I think it was in the 70s or 80s. There was a like Italian like pop star radio star that
I
was
was
saying,
thinking about this.
yeah, saying to people, just be like, you know what, if it sounds like it's coming from America, these people will dance to anything. And so he made a song that was in English, but it's just complete gibberish how it's put together.
But it
But-
sounds like they're speaking English.
Yeah, but it sounds,
Where
or
they would.
if you've ever played The Sims, like Simlish, where it's just like it sounds like words, but it's not actual words. But you know what they're saying because of the inflections and the emotion and stuff. But I will say, like, I can't remember what the song is called, but the video, there's 2 videos for it, and it's amazing. Because again, it's just a big old pile, like bucket of English carnage words, like just through a blender. And you're just like, okay, but the dancing, the groove, the song, you're like, this is actually pretty good. It's complete BS, but it's pretty good.
Adriano Celentano. That's
Yeah.
his name.
Okay, now pronounce the title.
Yeah, I know. Nope.
Prison
It's
Collinesinai
just
soul.
Holy shit.
the conviction.
funny,
The conviction
Even the
in
name of the
video.
song sounds like you were saying like the prison colon. Like I was hearing terrible things in what you were saying just now.
The tough song.
Yeah, if you're talking about prison colons.
Prison.
Oh man,
I
I'm
feel
dying
like-
to hear this song now.
Tight groove.
I'm gonna check it out.
I'm gonna hit play.
And it's like the end of the phrase. They go, yeah. It's like,
Really?
yeah. It's like there's some phrases where they end it with like, yeah.
both-
Like,
Both the videos, like they're great. Like they're scary good, and you're like, it's like as far as entertainment value. Like I would say go as far as like Gangnam Style. Like it got like the song was catchy, but like the video got you.
Yeah.
And when I watched
yeah.
the video for that, I was like, there's some gold here.
Oh, this is funny.
Oh man, I have a.
All the girls are just taking it in the video too, hey?
Oh, is it the school one? Is it the
Yeah.
school one where they're all
Yeah,
like
that's the
they're all bopping? Because I
Yeah.
was watching that, I'm just like, wow, like they're really into this, or like they're getting paid well, or maybe
And-
work's really not good.
And they're
Wow,
they're really old to be in school too. All of them.
they are quite old. There's something wrong with their educational system.
It's like back
Here I
in the
say you're pushing
90s.
40, yeah, and you're still listening to that teacher.
Back in the 90s, I swear, everybody in high school in sitcoms and stuff, they were all like 50 years old. It's like,
Yeah,
it's like I remember thinking that I was growing up like weird or something because I wasn't as like tall, and I didn't have a full face beard in grade 7.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Like that
I
kid's
think
got
it's-
5 o'clock shadow.
It's still like that today, man. I have some friends that are actors and they're like in their 30s playing like 16-year-old kids in high school. It's like, what the fuck? Right?
Well, and-
like, how is that? Oh, it's kind of gross.
It was weird because I was watching something recently, and it was, I think it was that new show, The Wild, The Wilds, it's on Amazon Prime. Great show, but there's parts in it where there's like sex scenes, not like exposed sex scenes,
Right.
but like still sex scenes, but like it's kids that are 16, 17 years old, and it makes me feel weird. It's like you're watching. It's like, no, hold on. I get that you're like 30, but still, you're not supposed to be 30. You're like,
Yeah.
you're a kid.
Yeah.
It's
that's
definitely.
messed up, hey?
It's funny how far they push it. When if you think back to like way back, I don't think that would have gotten across. That's for sure.
I'm just go ahead.
You remember the movie Bad Boys? Of
Oh,
course
yeah.
you do, right? I
No,
just
what's
found this out. I just found this out today that in the first one at the strip club, Megan Fox is one of the strippers, and she was 15 years old when she filmed that.
No way.
What?
I just found that out today. I don't even remember where the hell I heard that.
Huh.
I should don't
That's-
quote me on that, but
I'm gonna
that might
find
be
Google.
just Google that, because I heard that today and I was like, what the fuck? But
Sounds like
Man.
one of those. Like,
I think I know where I
never-ending-
heard that. I watched Andrew Schultz Saves the World or whatever. I think that's where I heard that on. Did you guys watch that yet?
No.
Fucking brilliant.
Oh, it's
brilliant.
it's one of the first articles that shows up. Megan Fox talks about being underage extra in Bad Boys 2.
Yeah. So
Huh.
you guys know who Andrew Schultz is?
No.
Okay, he is a stand-up comedian, American, and like when COVID hit, he blew up on like YouTube and social media. He was that, you might have seen a couple clips. He was always like, turn your phone to the side, I'm going to show you
Oh
something.
yeah, this guy. Yeah.
Right, and then he would talk like political shit or whatever. And he's got his own podcast, but he just has a show that came out on Netflix yesterday. There's 4 episodes, they're about 15 minutes long, and it's like punch after punch after punch. Like you don't even have time to breathe, man. They're coming left and right
Huh.
for like 15 minutes straight. Like you got to watch it a couple times to catch all the references and all the jokes. It's so good, man. I would recommend it to anybody out there.
Definitely check that out.
But I think that's where I heard that. But yeah, 15 years old, being a stripper.
That is crazy though. And I'm sure that that's just one of the many, because I definitely don't think they check too crazy on the extras for half of those movies.
right.
And
Yeah.
actually, the new Bond girl, I forgot what her name is, but she's from some South American country originally, and she was in I think it's Argentina or something. She was in one of those sitcoms, and she was at least topless when she was 16, and apparently that was normal there.
in
Wow.
Argentina.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Venezuela, whatever, some South American country.
And Tracy
Hmm.
Lords. We all
I
know
gotta
who
look her up.
Tracy Lords is, right, boys? No?
I think nobody's just no one's
But-
answering.
No, I'm guessing. Like I think just by just by the question, I'm sure I'd maybe know to see.
She's in Crybaby with Johnny Depp. To say
Oh.
the least.
Oh, okay.
But
I
she
love
was-
that movie, by the way.
Right? Such a good show, right? That brings me back to frickin' high school.
Anna de
I-
Armas.
I knew a woman when I was growing up that I swear looked like Hatchet Hatchet Face. Yeah, Hatchet Face.
Really?
I swear, like to a T, this woman looked like Hatchet Face. And when she wore makeup, like she did her makeup like she was trying to look like Hatchet Face.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I think the lead actress girl, I think she's in jail now. Like I forget what her name was in the movie, but
Huh.
I'm gonna look that up too. I'm definitely a movie buff, you guys. As you can see behind me, those are all movies. There's like, I got thousands of movies.
I feel like that was the one that was like the saddest part of breakups growing up is I swear I always lost my DVD collection. And most of them that I loved were not easy ones to find. Like it is not easy to find Masters of the Universe on DVD.
Oh
That-
yeah.
Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, Dolph
Zoom-
Lundgren.
Yeah.
To zoom out of that for a second, it's an interesting concept because it's like none of my girlfriends liked video games, so I never had to get video games back. It's the idea of like, do you date somebody that's into the same stuff that you are, risking having to get your stuff back, or find someone who's not into the same things that you are, so you don't have to get any of your stuff back.
It'll be on your lawn anyway.
That brings
Well,
a
like, not when
whole
you're,
new
like, a kid.
meaning to like not dating musicians. It's like
Got my
yeah.
micro Korg, but I have her bass. So it's not too bad. It's kind of a good
Yeah.
fair trade.
The only time that I had that happen, I got out way better and more ahead. So I can say that I got the good end of that deal. So that was good.
Are you guys are all in relationships right now, hey?
Yeah.
Are you guys like married or just like the dating? phase
Mike
still
is Mike is married, but Brendan and I we're not married yet.
Not yet.
I say yet
Yet.
because
Coming.
yeah.
It'll happen eventually.
If I know what's good for me, it's coming.
Well, in all fairness, not a great year for weddings. Not a great year for weddings.
No, and
Not a-
that's definitely.
To buy a ring either. I was going to, and then all my work went away. So
Oh,
No, but what's the thing? 3 months salary.
yeah.
oh,
This
that's
is your window,
That is
This is
the
your
one
window.
beautiful thing is like 3 months
Free
salary,
government
man.
payment later.
So
Your last 3 months.
you just go over and you're just like, wait a second, there's nothing there. It's like musician.
yeah,
Yeah.
3
COVID.
months. Yeah.
Man, no,
Pick the
do
winner.
the cutesy thing with a ring pop.
Oh,
Yeah. Although those things
Or-
like that isn't the cutesy thing because those things are sticky and they get everywhere, and then it takes 5 times washing your hand just to get the crap off it.
or
How
just get the
literally.
travel ring and just never replace it.
Okay,
I learned
see.
about that early on. They're like, well, don't take like the real one. Like, get a travel ring. That's like $100. So you can like do the motions of everything, but not have to risk losing the real one.
See, and that's even not like the craziest
Don't
cheapest
replace it.
travel ring. Like $100, that's still fair.
Yeah, and then just keep peppering it with sentimental value to raise the value of the ring. And be like,
That
oh,
was-
but remember the times and everything.
That was
Yeah.
one of the smartest things that the jewelry industry ever did is they started calling like the crappy dirty diamonds that aren't clear and perfect. They just started calling them salt and pepper diamonds. And then all the hipsters are like, well, I need that one. Like I need that conflict-free salt and pepper diamond.
I can go on about this because the rocks, people. The
Yeah.
rocks. You dig them out of the ground. And then you got a company that's like, we got a bunch of rocks, so let's put a value on them and tell
Yeah.
people that it means true love and it's forever. And then we'll crank up the price, and then we'll grow them in a lab after. So we're not even and we'll say, oh, they're ethically sourced, and we'll crank up the price
And
even more.
we
with
could
that.
ask even more for him. Yeah.
Yeah.
The funny part is like I wonder, when you go into, because I haven't gone, like ring shopping. So when you go in, is there a side of the store that's like dingy and smells like smoke, and that's where the conflict diamonds are?
It's not a record
No.
store, no.
No. Nope. If you want that kind of stuff, I think pawn shop. Yeah, you'll find some. No pun intended. You'll find your gems there.
Pawn
Yeah.
shop, eBay.
Yeah.
I never liked pawn shops because I hate talking about buying something. Like I don't want to talk about it with somebody. I'd rather them just put the price on it.
That's a
So,
good point. If you like
Yeah.
conversation, pawn shops are probably pretty good.
that would be, can you imagine if somebody just didn't have any friends and they spent their whole week, it's like they'd get done work, go to the pawn shop, and just kind of like they bounce back and forth between
Yeah,
different
just
pawn shops,
Chatting.
just chatting, show up with a 6-pack, be like, hey man, you want one?
Yeah.
I
What'd you do this weekend? Oh, hung
Yeah,
out at the pawn shop.
exactly.
Yeah.
Start getting to know them after a while. The guy's finally just like, man, are you looking for anything?
No,
Friendship?
I brought beer.
you know how
Yeah,
they have,
exactly.
you know how they have
You guys
Pawn
ever pawn
Stars?
anything?
I definitely have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's-
it's a useful thing when you need to.
It's funny you say pawn anything because my old studio in Kensington Market downtown Toronto was called Pawn Shop, and part of it was if you need money quick, I might be able to help you out because there was times when because again with musicians and producers and stuff, there's just instruments, there's gears, microphones, and it's like there's some stuff that came up for pretty good sale and people need money quick, and it's like, well, if I'm interested in it, I'll grab it, but at least you know where it is. So if you want it back, it's like just buy it back from me.
Right.
For more.
No, no.
You did have you did have
But
some
I
good
could
toys in there.
always hang it. I could always hang it over them.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Look at that guitar.
So do you want the ethical price or do you want
Because like I'll do unethical things to give you this guitar, but
Yeah.
the price
No,
will
I just-
reflect.
I know I gave you $400 for it, but
No, it happened a couple times where people will be like, hey, like I'm selling this, do you know anyone's interested? Are you interested? And I know they didn't want to sell it. And
Right.
it's at that point where it's like, I don't have a problem getting into line to pick it up if I know that they want it back. And if they don't want it back, and if I don't want it, then I can just sell it. Because it's not like I know the guys will probably say like, no, Mike doesn't buy lots of gear, but it's like I like looking at gear, and I'm one of those people that needs to see commercials and be like, yeah, I want that. And
Yeah.
then so the idea of people like, oh, I've got a guitar, I got a mic pre or a microphone or something, and be like, okay, well, I'm pretty sure you want this back in a month or two, because it's difficult with musicians sometimes when like it's really like you're doing well or you're not doing well with a lot of
Yeah.
musicians.
So how long would you hold on to it for them before you sell it?
I would usually ask them a few times if they for sure don't want it, because sometimes too we're like, so say a guitar, it's like you would have it and then you'd need to make some quick cash to make rent or whatever, and I will say it was never something where I'm like, someone's got a vice. That's your own whole deal with. I would never be like, yeah, I'll buy your guitar so you can go buy beer or go buy drugs or something.
Yeah.
Usually it's like rent, it's
Beer
mortgages, it's like it's bills, it's like unexplained expenses that pop up, because like no one's got savings, very few of us have savings, and but like to hang on to it, usually if it's a couple months, it'd be one of those things where I would be able to talk to them and be like, hey, like, do you actually want this? Like I might post this again. And because sometimes you don't have that attachment to it anymore after
Yeah.
you've let go and I really didn't actually need that. Like the money was
Mhm.
good. Like I've got enough guitars, enough microphones, or especially
Right.
with some of my friends that were studio guys, it's like, just outboard gear and just stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'll take that. But and again, being downtown Toronto, you can flip gear really quickly.
Oh,
Yeah.
Interesting.
Do you ever have you must have, being downtown Toronto, you must have some shady people walking in there too, right? Looking at gear and stuff.
Yes and no. Like I moved into my studio a few years ago, but like the guys will vouch for me. Like Kensington Market is its own little microcosm of weirdness and eccentrics, but I was like the door to my studio was down an alley, and then through one door, through another door, upstairs, and through another door. So it's like you wouldn't have randoms off the street coming in, and it's not like there was a big sign or something saying there's a studio there.
Right.
So, and if anything,
So-
too, rob the studio downstairs before you rob me. So,
Yeah.
Right.
sorry guys, sorry guys.
Not easy stairs. They were not easy stairs to get gear in or out of.
Oh, that's
Actually, with that, with the pawn shop thing too, it's funny with the stairs. There's one of the bands I was working with. They brought a Mesa oversized 412 cabinet up, and they're not light. And the dudes who brought it up, and the guitar player half jokingly, he's like, "Do you want to buy my cab? Because I don't want to take it down the stairs." And
you
that's
did.
how I bought it. Yeah, and just like, yeah, done. So we just went on to Craigslist and just looked at what was fair market value for it. And I'm like, I'll just take that off, what you guys owe. It's like done.
Hey, Joel, don't you have a guitar for sale?
I
Maybe
got
Mike
two of
wants it. Yeah.
I don't play guitar, and I've got two guitars here. Jeez.
That's always how it goes.
Last thing on the pawn shop thing. You know how they have Pawn Stars, where like the big joke on that is him talking people down.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so it's just a mint condition, Wayne Gretzky card signed and everything, rookie card. The best I could do is $15. They should have one where it's someone going to pawn shops talking them down. I'd like to see that.
It wouldn't make it to TV though.
But TV's fake,
What-
so it'd still be fun.
I used
Yeah, I
to
guess.
I used to try when I was younger, because when I was younger I'd go into pawn shops, and it was before like this. It really dates me, but like it was before the internet really took off. It sounds weird to even say that, but
So you're 27 now.
yeah, exactly.
27.
Yeah.
We'll stick with that. But no, for real, it's like I'd go into pawn shops and I'd be like, okay, no, like that's way too much for that. I can get that for way cheaper at the time it was John Ballone's Music in London. And
Fans.
oh yeah. And and so yeah, it was definitely I hated that about the internet. Like those deals that you'd get when someone just did not know what they had. And like some old
Have you-
lady that's got, you know, a 1959 Les Paul sitting in her closet, and it's like the fabled story of getting the car that the lady just drove back and forth to church every day, every week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, it's been in 9 accidents. What are you talking about?
We actually still have the luxury of when we buy used records, a lot of people don't know what they have. And they just want to get rid of it. They just I have a
Really?
box, yeah, I have a box of records. Do you want it? Sure. How much do you want for it? Oh, I'll take $30. Sold.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yep. And then you get some like $200-300 records in there.
Yeah.
I have to say that it's I'd never even think that you would have $200-300 records.
What's a
Like
$300 record?
Okay. So you obviously know the Guess Who.
yeah.
Okay. So the Guess Who, before they were the Guess Who, were Chad Allen and the Guess Who.
Okay.
Their only record was only pressed once. That one. So Jeremy, our colleague, he went out to some farmer here in the area, went to look at some records, found I think it was a box of, I don't know, 50 to 75 records, whatever it was, and he just wanted to get rid of the box. Jeremy offered, I think it was $30 or something, and he brought the whole box to me, and he was like, check out this record. I think this might be worth something. I might be wrong, but who knows? So we pulled it out. We did some research, and oh yeah, is this really? Does it say $300 right here? Yeah, it does. Oh, okay, well, let's clean it up, put it on the site, see what happens. So it took a couple of months, but I got an email from a guy in Spain saying that can you send me some extra pictures of this record because I'm interested. Okay, Spain, whatever. So I took some
Huh.
pictures, sent it to the guy, and he was like, "Yeah, looks good. Next paycheck, I'll buy it off you." Sure, man. Whatever. I don't believe it. I'll see it when I believe it, or I believe it when I see it. And sure enough, a week or 2 weeks later, there was all of a sudden an order for $300 plus $40 shipping. Like, oh,
Wow.
hello. So
Jeez.
So they exist.
Yeah,
It
I
happens.
used to have a sound guy on the road, and he knew a lot about like old jazz records, especially. So when
Yeah,
we
yeah.
were in different cities in America, like we went one time in particular, we played in Cincinnati at this venue called Bogarts, and we found this little vinyl shop down the street, and he found this. I want to say it was Hank Mobley or some record, but it was worth like $300 or $400, and he bought it for
Wow.
$10. And the guy at the record shop, he said that he goes, I go to these record shops in every city every time I can because these people don't know what they have. They just go somewhere and they just get boxes and boxes of vinyl and throw it in the racks, and they have no idea. So if you actually know what you're looking for, what's worth money. And it was only a couple times. It's pretty rare to find anything that's worth something, but I just remember that one time in Cincinnati, he found a record, and we looked it up, and it was like $300, and it was in
Yeah.
such good condition too. We were like, oh, it's like, oh my god, wow, really? Okay.
Wow.
Well, and you probably don't find them a lot there anymore because the collectors know what they're looking for.
Right.
So
Well,
and-
and the internet.
yeah, and they know where to go. Yeah,
The
soon
internet
as you-
killed all our fun.
Right?
I don't know.
For sure.
Is there
But
like
now-
I'm totally
I'm-
kidding.
I'm having fun right now.
is there a system for records like with books? Because with books you can just scan the barcodes, like the ISBN or whatever it is. Is there a system
Yeah.
where you can just scan the barcode on the record and tell you what it is?
Yeah, barcodes only came in the late 80s. But before then, well, actually, still, records all have a catalog number. So if you look on the label, it's usually on the left or right. It has something like ABC-1234. That's a catalog number. You can look that up on Discogs, discogs.com. And it's a marketplace. So it'll give you an average value. I mean, Discogs can be very wrong because it's an average.
Yeah,
But that's kind of what we base our pricing on.
It's a good starting
that's very
point
cool.
for
I
sure.
didn't know that.
And it's yeah, and it's the grading is very much like hockey cards or baseball cards or something. Like you have your grading scales, I
Mhm.
guess, and
Yeah.
that determines
if
the value.
yeah, if it's there's a scratch on it or a nick, or if it's like water stained or warped, or if
Yeah.
the sleeve is like damaged a little bit or written on, that kind of shit affects it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, for
Listening-
years. Pardon?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say for years, I swear, my brother thought he was going to like retire an early young man because of his baseball card collection.
Oh yeah, how did that turn out?
I'll say not good.
Did you guys
I-
ever collect cards?
I did, yeah.
Yep.
I more so just kind of I liked the way they looked. I thought they were cool. I liked having things more than or like things like that more than I actually liked the thing itself. It was more just the thought of having a collection of something that I don't
Right.
know got me excited.
I had hockey
That's-
cards.
I was gonna say
Hockey
I had
cards.
hockey cards, lots. I still have. They're still at my parents. My dad, I think he bought them more for him because he keeps them all now. But when I was a kid, even long after I was like not really interested in them anymore, I'd always get all these like hockey cards. Be like, great. My dad's sitting there like, yeah, excellent.
Yeah. I remember there was a point in time where like you would get like a pack of, what were they called, like pro staff cards or whatever the hell it was.
Pro
But
something. Yeah.
Yeah, came a point in time where they were more valuable if you didn't open up the packet. So
Yeah.
you'd have a package of like 10, 20 cards. You didn't even know what the hell you had, man.
Yeah. No, I
Was
do.
it-
I remember that because there was the pro staff, there was Don Russ,
I remember Tops for some reason.
Tops, OPG or
Top-
what? OPG.
yeah,
Oh, Peachy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's 80s.
I
Man,
think
this
that's
is so over my
Upper
head.
Deck. Upper Deck.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, I forgot Upper Deck.
Oh, dude, Upper Deck had the holograms on them.
Yeah, they were definitely those were the better ones. I remember
So
Don
90s.
Don Russ had like the old school look to them though. I like the Don Russ cards.
That's right. Did you guys have like, Brendan, did you have like a specific player that you were collecting? Like it was like a Gretzky collection or?
Brett Hull. I have a Brett Hull rookie card at home, I believe. I don't know how much it's worth. I don't know if that means anything, but there's a Brett Hull rookie card. It's in one of those little hard plastic sort of
Yeah.
to keep it.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
it's probably been a good like I don't know 20 years since I've looked at it. So I'd have to ask my dad.
It
Well,
holds the
Blues,
value
right?
better.
best I can do is $5.
Yeah, exactly.
I bet you that's worth some money, man.
I
I'm
think it
curious now.
Probably.
I think it is. And when we bought it, there used to be this guy in my hometown, and we'd go to it. It's like my dad's friend. We'd go to his house, and he had a little card shop in his basement, and he had like all kinds of really nice. I just remember going and looking in this glass display and being like, "Whoa!" Like
Yeah.
oh,
This-
rookie card. Whoa!
Yeah.
This brings back like memories that aren't painful, but they make me ashamed because we had the same type of thing, except it was in the back of a flower shop. So like this guy's wife ran the flower shop, and then him and his son had this little card business in the back. And I was terrible. Like me and my friends would go in, and you know one guy would kind of like distract, and we'd try and take the
Jeez.
stickers off of the expensive ones and put them on the really cheap ones, and then put the cheap stickers on the expensive ones. We'd give it to the kid.
Oh man.
So we'd give it to the kid, and the kid be like, all right. And he'd just, take his dad the $5 and we'd skedaddle. But like I feel bad because of the fact that it's like he just never checked it. It's like his wife made him get rid of all of his cards. So he's like, well, maybe I'll make some money. And-
So you ruined somebody?
So, well,
Yeah, that kid.
No, but
probably
I'm
got
sure-
beat.
It's like I don't know. what went
I'm
wrong.
sure that the kid probably they never got wise to it, but I bet you that the wife after a while was like, all right, you need to get rid of this childish
Yeah.
card shop because you're not making any money. Like you have cards in there for like $300 and they're just sitting there. but
And all,
it's
and all
probably
you do
like-
is sell the $5 ones.
yeah, exactly. You're selling all these little $5 cards. But and I'm sure we pocketed. I say I'm sure we pocketed, but like I know we pocketed. Man, the police are gonna be knocking at my door in like 5
Yeah,
minutes.
you are definitely, I know
I'm-
you're only 27, but like, you're not
Right.
far away here.
Pull the
That,
cord, Zuckerberg.
Yeah, that reminded me of Pepsi Points. Do you guys remember those things?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Like,
Do you ever
can't
get
say
any
you
good
didn't-
ones?
Oh fuck yeah,
Any
man.
good
We used-
stuff? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think I got a Discman one time. I remember getting a Discman.
Oh, Discman.
I'm just
But-
thinking back, like even with
Did you
chips too, like there used to be like junk food used to be so much more rewarding. Like they'd
Yeah.
be like, eat our and drink our consume our stuff, and then we'll give you like t-shirts and like things.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Huh?
I think they should bring Pepsi Points back, man. That was a
Pepsi
that
Points
a
was huge.
good
You know what
idea.
though? I think someone tried to sue them because you remember the commercial with the Harrier jet, and if you had to get like it was like a crazy amount of points, and you could get this jet, but like it was such a crazy amount of points that they thought everyone would know they were joking. But apparently someone saved up enough points to send in for the jet, and they're like we can't give you a jet, like we don't have a jet.
And that's like
Oh, they
pre-internet
should have.
craziness
They
too.
fucking should have given him the jet, man.
Yeah, that can you imagine how awesome it would be if like and it was probably a paper boy or somebody who had a paper route, and he got all of his people on his paper route to give them the Pepsi points.
Or he probably stole them. I remember going into like Walmart and shit with like a little box cutter.
Exactly.
And we knew where the like, because they were on the inside of the like 12 pack of cans, right? But we were so good at it that we knew where it was on the inside, so we would cut it out, and then we'd have like 10 points or 20 points or whatever the hell they were. And that fuck, we did that.
I'm
lots,
glad that I opened up the honesty here.
man.
Okay, so like that brings up now who else did
Yeah,
did
Brendan,
bad
your
things as
turn,
a
Brendan.
kid?
Your turn,
Your
Brendan.
Your turn, B.
But this all happened 25-year plus ago, so it's all not relevant.
What
to
is the
police
statute
anymore, right?
of limitations
yeah,
on
exactly.
Pepsi Point theft?
Yeah, sponsor us, Pepsi. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
After this
that'd be
story, I don't think that's
fantastic.
happening. Yeah.
Well, you know what though? It would be good. They'd get ahead of the story. They'd put a spin on it. It'd be a way to bring back Pepsi Points.
I think they should.
Make them relevant
man.
again. Yeah.
Can you imagine if Funky Moose Records brings back Pepsi points?
I'm
That's
in.
something. That's something
I'm
to
down.
say.
I'll vouch for that.
That would
Yeah,
be
all of
definitely
us.
the top of a resume.
Yeah.
We'll have to combine our podcasts too, maybe.
What have you achieved in life? We brought back
Yeah.
Pepsi points.
Lifetime achievements. Honestly, that
Yeah.
would be something I would want on my tombstone.
You're walking
Here
through Walmart.
lies.
You're like, oh, it's the Pepsi points, guys.
Yeah,
My God.
there'll be a picture of me at the
You.
door now. Don't let this guy in the soda pop section.
I
You know
was-
what? They'll put like one of the Travelocity dude, like the standees that they have at Travel Lodge. They'll put a big standee of you at the front, and it'll be one of those things to like shame kids from stealing. It'd be like, and so they'll make you look all like sad and lonely. They'll be like, don't be like Joel.
In handcuffs or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, shout out to Pepsi. But yeah, freaking yeah, Discman. Did you get any solid gifts out of there?
None.
No.
I gave all of my points to a friend of mine, and he got tons of stuff. But we were not like, one, I wasn't crafty enough to take the box cutter into Walmart, but like my parents always got like the RC cola and like yeah, like I
But what-
remember once in a while getting like the like the big 2-4 pack, but it was 6 different kinds of Crush and stuff.
Right, like
But,
grape and orange and
Mhm.
The rainbow
But
pack.
that was
Rainbow pack.
like
Mugs Rip
that
Beer.
was once in a while, and I'm convinced that it was like my parents got high or something, and they were they were just
Was-
like they were
was
like,
this-
oh man, let's get
Was
this
this
out."
before your hockey card endeavor?
This was definitely actually, it would have probably been like during.
Oh, maybe
Even to
so.
this
So you're trying to
day-
compensate. You felt bad for the card kid, so you gave away your Pepsi points to someone else.
Actually,
it.
you know what? That maybe I was trying to atone for
There you go.
what I had done wrong.
Yeah.
Canceled it out.
Oh yeah,
You've
I'm
done your-
sure that
you've
when I
done your
get when
time.
I get to the pearly gates, like St. Peter or whoever's up there, it's probably just gonna be a dude in a who farted hat. But he'll be like, okay, we know that you ruined this young man's life because his parents thought that he was stealing hockey cards.
But
But you gave your Pepsi points to this guy, and he got a shit ton of swag. So yeah, okay, you can come in.
Oh, that's right. Wasn't there like t-shirts and sweatshirts and shit too? Hats?
Oh,
I think I got
everything. Yeah, like
there was a Pepsi hat I got, a ball cap. Yeah.
So
sunglasses. I
always
remember
had
there was
big
sunglasses.
plans for Pepsi points. I always had like grand plans. I'm like, I'm gonna get all these Pepsi points and get that, and then I never got anything. I don't think I saved up enough to actually get anything, right? So
Or do you-
there's probably like an old box or something of my parents that has a bunch of the Pepsi point caps still on the bottom of it, right? And they're
Yeah, I was
Big
just about to
plans.
say they're still at your parents.
I never had like the punch cards, like the buy 5 and you get a free one. I was never good at keeping those. But you know when I did become good at keeping those is the dispensary that delivers around here. It has a six punch holes and you get a free something. And so man, like every single time, I'm like I pull out my card, I put my little stamp thing on my card, like thank you. Yeah.
they're still.
I've become
honoring
very, very diligent.
Was it for like
During
a slush
pandemic?
at 7-Eleven?
What'd you say, Mike?
that. Oh, I was saying it's odd they're still honoring the punch card during pandemic because even our vet here, they've got like a, like a loyalty card, a rewards card sort of thing, and they're like, yeah, we're not doing that
It's-
during all of this.
It's contactless though. They just have
Oh.
they have little stickers. They have like a little sticker that goes on instead of an actual stamp. And they just leave
They
it
have
in
like a
the-
little BB gun. They're like, all
Mhm.
right, you just hold it off to the side, and like I'll try to not hit you in the hand. So don't move.
BB gun is
There-
still one of the only things that no matter how many times you say it or how old I get, I still get excited when I hear BB gun. Like and something in me gets mischievous and I just like I want to go get one. I want to go buy a BB gun and like set up army men, shoot them off the porch.
Would
not-
you go cartridge like CO2 or pump action?
Well, I think the pump action would just be a lot more fun, but I think the like repeater, I'd want the like a lever action or something like that. That'd be
Right.
like the old what was it?
Home Alone one?
The Red Rider. Or yeah, that one wasn't that? It was like a brake barrel, wasn't it?
I think so.
It was something like that. But yeah, either way. Oh, I think actually the Home Alone one was the one that you could pump up like 1,000 times.
With the
I
airbag.
do. Those were
No, it
fun.
wasn't. It wasn't his more like a shotgun. Didn't he like cock it?
yeah, he did cock it like a shotgun. That's right.
So like
Whether
he-
for cinematic effect or not, I don't know, but
Mhm.
it's
I had
like
the
they have the
the pump
airsoft
up.
guns. They have the we used to always get those on tour in the My Darkest Days RV. So then once one person got an airsoft gun and they start pinging everyone off, it's like an arms race. Everyone else is like, well, I got to get one too for protection. So then when there was a time when we figured we're like, maybe we should cool it with the airsoft guns. You know, a few people got shot in the eye, myself included, etc. But we'd be driving down the road and we'd turn a corner and all the little pellets would go shift from one side to the other. There'd be this big rolling. We're like, maybe that's enough on the airsoft pellets.
I don't know if it's a good sign when you're like, I need guns to protect myself from my own bandmates.
Yeah.
Why do you need enemies when you have friends like that? You know,
Yeah. And
I don't
those-
wanna, I don't mean to go backwards, guys, but I just looked up on Google here, and you know that Pepsi stuff was relaunched on January 22nd, 2018, with retro
What?
editions of Pepsi, and it only ended in February 2019. We just had Pepsi points back, Pepsi stuff.
That's
can bring it back
bullshit. Not
again,
out
though.
here, man.
No,
Yeah.
wow.
That must have been just like in the States, or was that
Yeah,
in Canada? Or?
I think it may have been just in the States. Yeah.
Sounds like a US thing because it was cool.
They probably
That's
lost
just
a
not
lot of
fair.
money with all the kids stealing out of Walmart
With box
Right.
cutters.
with the box cutters.
And it's just smartphones now. They're just going and scanning QR codes. They're like, yeah, this is the way now.
Whoever was the marketing director for that whole Pepsi points thing is just sitting there, and every time they see one of those disc men, they just get like cold sweats. They start shivering. They have like a PTSD flashback thing. Like,
That's
no,
my fault.
no more discmen. No more discmen.
Right?
Well, maybe they had like a whole warehouse full of stuff still, and they're like, what do we do with this? And they're like, just relaunch Pepsi Points, and we'll just get this stuff out of here.
Yeah,
They try and
rid of
make the
disc-
discman retro.
We got all these
Yeah,
Harrier jets. We don't know what to do with them. So I want to get rid of them.
I mean, records are coming back, so why not Discman?
Yeah, they just like
I
open the
just
disc bin
saw.
and put the guts of an iPod in it, and they're like, there we go. Cool, it's retro iPod thing. It's basically just a phone.
I
but
just
has
saw-
phone capabilities.
A friend of ours just posted a picture on like Instagram or something like that of him. It's one of the like the old Sony, like the no skip ones. Can't remember what they were called.
Where they were
Shockwave.
like blue and yellow and like a little thicker. Those ones?
Sony
Yeah, sorry,
Shockwave.
it was Panasonic. It wasn't Sony. It was the Panasonic
Shockwave.
Shockwave. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
but yeah, and then he was putting a CD, and I'm like, now I'm starting to think maybe they were using him to make it popular again. He's like a what do they call that?
Influencer.
An influencer, yes. Mhm.
Huh.
Probably. Did you see
I
that?
actually saw a Kickstarter campaign. This must have been last year of a Walkman type thing, but it also had memory inside, so you could put MP3s on there. I'm
Hmm.
like, so if you have a cassette deck thing,
like an
why would you-
iPod?
Yeah,
Like one of those TVs with a VHS and DVD player in it.
Mm.
Because you know where you're gonna end up.
Yeah.
The DVD. So
well, yeah, I don't. I saw it on Kickstarter and I was like, who's gonna back this? And then I forgot about it. So maybe it was.
I wonder how sad people that had like the DVD and the VHS, I wonder how sad they were, or like how much they felt like a failure when they came home, brought their kids home like a movie to watch, and it was the VHS, and they have to go put it in the VHS side, and the kids are like, why can't we have DVDs, Daddy?
Because they're
He's like,
expensive.
well, they're
can't
like
afford that
twice the
yet."
price. We can't afford. You're just gonna have to rewind this when we're done.
when we have big changes in technology, these guys are rolling their eyes already at me. When we have these big changes in like tech and stuff, it's like there's always that line of when the changeover was. Remember when we got like giant flat screen TVs? It's like
Yeah.
there was a week before where like the last of the giant cathode ray tube TVs were sold. Like the giant like 40-inch like
Oh, man.
huge ass end of the TV, those were sold that week. And then the next week, like the 32-inch flat screen or the 15-inch flat screen, like they came out and it was like, we could have just waited. We
Yeah.
could have just waited. Had an 800 pound
week.
TV.
And then you
Yeah,
go,
like-
and then you walk into the Best Buy to buy a cable for that huge ass TV that you just bought, and you look on the shelf and it's like, fuck.
Yeah.
And the cable costs more than the new TV would.
Yeah.
Oh man, I remember thinking we were rolling. We had a 27-inch TV, man. That thing was huge. Frick.
I miss
had
the
one.
wooden units. I miss the ones with the big, huge wooden. I would never want to move one.
And then they would
Oh.
I miss
swivel.
those.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait. No, even better, because you'd have the giant this is before we had our color TVs, but like, or most of them before color TVs, but the console TV where you're like, we need our TV, but also a radio and also a record player,
A record
all
player
in
too.
one box. Oh, let's put the speakers in the sides there too. So this thing weighs like, 1,500 pounds, and you need like a whole truck and a team to bring it in, and that's your console system.
Not to mention the
Yeah.
fact that normally when people get those moved out of their house, it's normally because they're not around anymore, and so it's their family that has to deal with it.
And it goes
Like I
to
feel
the
like you
repair.
buy one of those, you're kind of essentially buying what could be your coffin one day.
Oh,
Right. Yeah.
that reminds me. So when we bought this house, there was a piano in the basement, and the previous owners said they would come and get movers to get it out.
And they
then
never did they?
And then 2 weeks later, we get a letter. You can keep the piano.
The same thing
Awesome.
happened at my parents' place, but it was a giant organ. It was the same thing. They said they were like, we'll send somebody and
Yeah.
get that. And thinking like nobody would leave, an expensive organ behind. They would, and they
Yeah.
did.
Well,
And 20 years later, that thing was still at my parents' place.
the piano's still there. We've been living here for 7 years.
Is it playable? Is it good?
Yeah, but it goes out of tune like every time you play it, basically.
Nice.
That's what you want in a piano, though.
Yeah, piano with attitude.
Yeah, like it kind of if the piano it walks around the house kind of like this,
Yeah,
all
strutting.
smug.
Yeah,
That thing owns the house
Yeah.
more than you do, Frick.
yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, remove me, bitches.
Yeah.
Yeah, try it. I'll fall on your toes.
So my wife now decided that, okay, we're gonna take the guts out and make it into a piano bar, and so it's gonna be a coffee
Cool.
bar. So eventually, it's gonna go upstairs somehow, but we're gonna take it apart, like piece by piece. And
You should turn it
You
into
need
a
to
record
take
player.
the strings off. And a record player.
No,
You got to
that's
take
good.
the
Where you-
strings off
where you
while
op-
you're on
on what?
your stream, like where you're on the cast, so you can hear it. Clipping
Doing.
the piano strings.
Yeah,
That would be one hell of a cool sound.
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, once the soundboards warp on those and they don't hold tuning for very long anymore, you're pretty done.
Yeah, yeah.
What kind of keys is on there? Like, wasn't there a thing where they were using like elephant tusks or
The
some
ivory,
shit?
yeah,
Ivory.
keys?
Yeah.
made that legal.
I'm not sure what's on here,
Google
but
it.
no, they're one of the keys, one or two of the keys, they flake. They're not real ivory.
It's not ivory.
No, it's a
Nah.
cheap piano too.
It could be that kind of the flaky kind of ivory.
Yeah, probably. It's like
No, sweetie. It's that kind of flaky diamond. It's a flaky kind of diamond.
yeah, it's ethical.
It's a really, really ethical diamond. It's not a diamond. Because actually, the ones that they make in the like the lab,
code,
that's not ethical. That's like cheating.
It's plastic.
That's a very unethical diamond.
Shh, they're so much cheaper, Dane. Don't ruin it for me.
No, they're not, Brendan.
'Cause
Is it
most
like cloning?
3D printed, yeah.
3D
3D?
printed diamond?
Seriously?
No. Well, kind of.
Oh,
Sort of.
I didn't know that they could do
They,
that.
they are much cheaper. The only thing with man-made diamonds though is their resale value is like absolutely nothing. It's worse than the real mined diamonds, because that's what you learn when you go start talking to these jeweler people about diamonds, is that your resale value is really not good. So you really want her to say yes.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
never-
Sheepishly come back in the store and be like, "You need to take this back," and they're like, "Surprise, no money."
So
Imagine being the girlfriend that finds out that like he had proposed to somebody before with the ring, but he wasn't gonna get any resale on it, so he kept it until he needed it again.
Yeah, just
Oh.
find like make that part of like your criteria for your next person. If it doesn't work out, the first person is make sure it's exactly the same ring
Same ring
size.
size. Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and on the first date. So, what do you think about engagement rings and diamonds?
Pear shape,
Just
teardrop.
kept looking at my hands.
Oh, yeah,
I-
exactly. It's like, why you really love holding hands?
You like one of those creepy hand guys or what?
I don't think there's anything wrong with that, man. That's probably something that I would do. I'd be like, fuck, man, I spent like 10 grand on this thing. I'm gonna hold on to it, and I can probably use it in about 5 years.
That's why you're not married.
Yeah, maybe.
That being
But
said, you
I've-
can get it resized. You can get it resized. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that would be called a blood. It's not a blood diamond. It's like a rejection diamond or
Yeah.
a shame diamond.
Rejection diamond. That's awesome.
I
She
actually
said no.
I actually went the really cheap way. My so the wedding ring I'm wearing is my father-in-law's,
Oh, nice.
Very
Oh.
cool.
and my wife's wedding and engagement ring are her mom's. I just had
Oh,
them
that's very cool.
resized and redone because the engagement ring had a big diamond on it sticking out, and knowing my wife, she would either lose it or hook it on everything. So I had it redone and sunken in, and then for our wedding rings, we did a goldsmith workshop where we took these rings and resized them to our own fingers and engraved them ourselves. So that was I mean,
That's
a lot-
cool.
it was a lot cheaper than 3 months of paychecks.
yeah. Is it the same thing with guys? Like I don't like full disclosure, like I'm wearing you can get 4 of these for $20 off Amazon. It's the silicone one. And then if I packed it properly, 1 second. I'm going somewhere. And then I got my tungsten one. When we were getting rings, because we kind of picked a lot of our own stuff, I just bought 4 off the internet for about $40 to $60 each to figure out which one fits. I never wore any rings.
Right.
Like people like Dane wears rings like every day, all day, tons of them. And I've never wore rings before. So I'm like, I don't even know what I want. I don't want to spend a lot of money on it. So to kind of bring it back full circle, it's just like I found the one that I liked and just started hammering it with sentimental value.
Right. See, I think that's the way to do it, man. In my opinion. And like, so my common law, and we're obviously not married, but we've been together. We're coming on 9 years, 10 years, I think. And she keeps saying the only reason we're not married is because I've never asked her. But I think we're in agreement that like in our opinion, like I don't, and I don't want to offend anybody here, but like I get the sacrament to God and all of that kind of stuff through marriage, but in my opinion, it's just a piece of paper, man. Like I don't need that legal signature saying that I'm going to stay with her for the rest of my life, when legally we're common law and all the same rules apply anyway. So, right?
I would argue that I'm in the same boat. I hope my wife's probably within earshot. I got an hour and a half drive after this. I'm gonna go for it. I'm going in. I would say like it is a business decision. It is a contract. I do believe a lot of marriage is the contract to be together for the kids. And the thing is, it's like things do change. Because like in the beginning, the joke is like everyone's asking when are you gonna get married, and then after you get married, there's other stuff they ask you all the time, or how the wedding's going. Definitely one of those things too. But when you get married, the thing that changes a little less stress and pressure when you debate or argue something, because like now that you're in paperwork, it's now more paperwork and more money. If you think the wedding was expensive, it's like ask any divorce lawyer, like it's even more expensive to get out of this, and especially if you got kids in there as well. So like I do think there's a difference of like when you're not married, because common law, it's like you still don't have to fight to get your stuff back or to get your half sort of thing. You can follow through with it. But I don't know, like I think it's been good. But then again, like we were together over 10 years. Like our wedding was basically our 10-year anniversary party. That's the way we kind of framed it. So I'm not saying like everyone needs to get married, but like it was it was nice for a relationship, especially musicians, and you could potentially be on the road for a long time. It's just nice knowing like you've made a contract with somebody. It's one thing to you know, there's the saying in the music business too, if it ain't on paper, it's vapor. And the idea where it's one thing to say things to each other, but it's another thing to you know, to say those words in whatever ceremony that you want, because it doesn't, like, we still never called our wedding a wedding to our venue. We just said we were having a we just said we were
Our
having
venue.
we just said we're having a reception, and then we turned it into a wedding, because if you say wedding to anybody, they just like add a zero to anything that you want to do. But yeah, no, it's I agree with you. Like, it is, you know, it's just a contract, and not everybody needs that. But
Right.
you know,
Well, for
There's
us,
something
for
to
us,
be
it's,
said though about
for us, it is a piece of paper and one hell of a party, because we had a good
yeah,
time.
and that's
Yeah.
the thing too. Like, I'm not a big party person, and Dane and Brendan would definitely back me on that. And even the idea of, like, you know, it's one thing to be a musician and get on stage and stuff like that, but it's like that's part of work. That's with purpose. But like, I have no, you know, I have no desire to like to be the center of attention. But you know, when you're in a room with friends and family, and one of my friends was just like, there's such an overwhelming amount of love put towards two people, with all, like, they're happy, you know.
Yep.
Even people that are divorced are like, no, this is pretty good, like, just give them a chance. But it's like it how we felt that day, like, I wasn't ready for that. And like, I get goosebumps thinking about it, because it was a lot of fun.
I
Did
agree.
you have the big white wedding?
Oh no, I picked out like my stuff like the morning of, like, I had my suit and stuff picked out, but like, Jess gave me full, lovely wife Jess gave me full, you know, can do whatever I want. She finished her outfit, her dress and everything that morning, you know, like, it wasn't like a big white wedding. And even at the beginning, like, because we had a humanist do the ceremony, and we wrote our own like what she was
Vows?
saying. Well, vows, but like, we basically wrote the script that the humanist was saying, sort of thing. So there's some jokes peppered in, stuff like that. But I remember Jess saying, like, you know, how are people going to know where to go and do this and do that, and how are going to, because it was so, like, it wasn't like thrown together, but there was just a lot of things. I'm like, we're just figured out that day. And one of her friends, like, everyone was upstairs again. The wedding venue was like not prepared for a wedding, and still like a week before, we're like, oh, we're just going to use the upstairs too. And one of her friends, like, everyone's just talking, hanging out. We're standing up on the stage, which is this high off the ground. She's really mad. She didn't want to be on stage. And one of her friends just whistled. Like, I can't do it, but one of the fingers in the mouth, and just super loud whistle, and everyone stopped, and then it started. So I don't think that's a white wedding, but it's just, it was fun, you know. And it was an
Yeah.
afternoon wedding too, so like, people weren't.
You guys did a really good wedding too, because I used to work at a venue
Oh, there
in
you go, yeah.
town, Liberty Grand, and it's like it's like the relationship actually matters, because you see people all the time. Like, I would work at these weddings. You'd be setting up gear for, like, you know, an 11-piece band, and like all this sound gear, and there's like $40,000 worth of flowers coming in, and we're installing like extra chandeliers because like 6 weren't enough, so we need 3 more, kind of thing. So these people end up spending like, you know, quarter to $500,000 on their wedding, and then you hear back, because there's girls in the office that would check up with them a year after to, you know, see how they're doing, and they're already broken up. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's crazy to spend all that money, and it's like, so it's like the wedding, like, I don't know who that's for. Sometimes it'd be like just to impress people or something like that, but it's like, what would you want, like an expensive wedding that breaks up, or do you want a relationship where it's a smaller wedding and it
Well,
actually comes together, you know?
it can turn into a pissing contest.
Yeah, and
Especially if the families get involved. And like, as soon as we, you know, as soon as we got engaged and started talking about it, it's like, you hear all these people chiming in, and the only advice that you need to listen to is do what you want,
Yeah.
because it's your day. And like, assume that other people aren't going to come in and just spend on it, because like, it doesn't need to be a pissing match between two families. That is not a good start.
Well,
Yeah.
and a lot of the stuff you realize is just so jacked up because I'd be walking through like the kitchen and like the underbelly of the venue, and you're looking at all the way where the food's being prepared, and you're like, oh my god, and then you come out and it's on these nice plates and everyone's eating it. And they're like, oh, nice venue, and you're like, yeah, real nice. Like this picture from the back there.
Yeah, it's crazy what people will spend on them. Because like when,
Yes.
like you said, Mike, when the families start going back and forth and trying to outdo each other. Like I've played weddings before that I know for a fact that it was well over $100,000, and it's like
Wow.
that's a house.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't take long for that to happen though, because still, like they're saying, average weddings are like between $30,000 and $70,000, and I'm like, how does that make sense? And you start like doing the math after, and you're like, it's not bonkers, especially if if you have 100 people and you start
Open
wanting to
bar and all that type of stuff.
feed
Yeah.
them,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
supply beverages and stuff, and just it can get up there pretty quick.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
that-
I know in our family that's the one thing. Like if you don't have an open bar, then most of the family's just not going to come.
Not even like
I'm
a
kidding,
toonie
they'll
bar.
go.
Toonie bars were the shit.
That's pretty good. The nice thing about a tuning bar is it at least keeps people from normally going completely over the rails. Like we
10
had
drinks
one
for
where,
$20 though.
well, but it's the 50 drinks for no bucks that gets in trouble.
You're gonna
I've
get some
seen,
good stories out of 50 drinks for no bucks though.
well, I've seen the bridesmaid just pull her dress completely over her head at a family wedding, and it wasn't impressive.
It was not. It was or was not impressive.
It was not impressive.
Oh, okay.
Not at all.
Okay,
But you
got it.
remembered it.
Got it.
You
Got it.
still remember it.
Oh yeah, it burned in. That was like the first. I think that was the first boobies I ever saw.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like,
Oh man,
think
I
was,
don't
like,
even remember
7 or
the
8.
first pair I saw. I don't remember.
Really?
I don't remember.
Really?
I saw my.
I remember the first pair like I got a hold of, but I don't remember the first pair that I saw.
I got a
Like,
hold of.
like I remember the
It's-
first fish I caught, but I don't remember the first fish I saw.
Okay, that's good.
I think I'm running off my phone right now, guys. I think I should head out. I'm down to 4%, and it's gonna kick me off in a second here.
Okay.
So
I don't know how long have we've been talking for. What, a good hour and a half now?
I know my connection's not
Yeah,
going to
about
work
that.
after that. So I'm gonna.
Well, and you got a bit of a drive ahead of you too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna head out just before I make one of those faces and get stuck, and then you wonder if I'm coming back and everything. So
Well,
I
I think this
appreciate
is
Later,
a
buddy.
this is a good time to just end it
I don't want to.
altogether. I
I
think.
don't want to be that.
And then,
guy.
no,
Look
but
what you did, Mike.
we'll just have you guys back because
Yeah,
I have
are
a
you
feeling
guys-
we can
Yes,
talk for
yes.
another 2
That-
hours.
You guys
yeah.
are
About
welcome
stuff.
here anytime you want. Know that I'm going to be tuning into your podcast as well because I was entertained, man. I liked it. I like hanging out with you guys. You guys are cool shit, man.
We didn't even
Wicked.
talk
Thanks so
about your
much, man.
music. We
Yeah, I know. I
talk
didn't even
about your
get into
music.
that. I had a few questions and stuff. But
Let's
next
do
time.
that. Let's do that next time. Yeah.
That's good. More. Well, anyone listening, we're a rock band and we play good music and we like it and we're fun. So
Most of the
we
time.
should say like when did I should ask you though, when did Echoes come out, you guys?
May 1st.
Last May. Yep.
May 1st, 2020. Yeah.
Should have done your research, man. You knew this.
I knew it. I wanted them to tell the people
Oh, sorry.
of what to go out and look for.
Sorry, you want to do that again?
The album's called Echoes Weapons, I was gonna say. It's called Echoes. Yeah, and then so like if you're gonna direct people to listen to your music, where exactly are you gonna direct them to? Like where's the best place to find your guys' stuff?
Really anywhere. Apple Music, Google Play. Did I get that backwards? Spotify. Yeah. Any major platform.
Cool. I
Awesome.
do have a couple questions though. So if Brendan and Dane, if you guys are
Yeah, of
cool with
course.
chilling out for a little bit longer, Mike,
Yeah.
you
All
have
right,
permission.
sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm at 2% now. I'm at 2% now.
Okay.
Reaching.
All right,
All
but
right,
Mike,
sounds
you
good.
Later,
gotta
buddy.
promise that you're coming back though.
Yeah.
Promise.
All right, buddy.
Cool.
And
Thanks for hanging
and
out
on
with us.
time. Joel, Mark, thanks so much. All right, see you guys later.
See ya.
Yeah, now that we're kind of on the album, I just wanted to add, like, I listened to it today. I think I don't even know if I listened to the whole thing, but I definitely hammered out like a good 8 tracks off of it. I
Nice.
just put it on like YouTube and, let it do the continue play kind of thing. And fuck, man, I was
Cheers.
impressed. And like, I don't know. There was like, every time I'm listening to like a newer album, I'm always trying to like I said, I'm like a 90s rock kind of fan. So I'm always trying to like compare it to the shit that I was listening to in the 90s. And shit, man, there was like 10 different bands that I could have like compared it to. Which I liked, because then that just made it your own. It's not like, oh, I heard some Corn in there, or I heard some Soundgarden over here or anything. It was more or less like it was just you guys. It was what it was. I enjoyed it. Like everything I listened to, whether they were like heavier or softer, I enjoyed them all. So kudos to you guys on that.
Thank you.
And
Awesome.
I was really impressed with like the sound quality of it, like the production value of it, I guess. And I kind of want to know a little bit more of that, like how, like I'll listen to somebody who's newer, up and coming, getting out there. They'll release an EP or something like that, and the production wise, like it sounds good, but it's not like crystal clear or anything. And from what I could tell today, like it was crystal fucking clear, man. It
you.
sounded great. And,
That
and I'm
is-
curious, like how did you learn how to do that? Who did it? All that kind of shit, right?
Well, basically, like that, 99% of that is the fact that Mike is definitely very good at what he does. Before Tense Machine, the majority of his work is production, and so the fact that Brendan and myself can kind of record our own stuff helps. But at the end of the day, in an afternoon sitting at Mike's place, we could get through a tune and have it pretty much ready to go to mastering. So I think that definitely that makes things easy for us, in the fact that we don't really have to, at the end of the day, sit there and go, okay, who do we want to produce this? Who do we want, like that? That's already out of the equation, because we like doing things in house.
Right.
And so, yeah, like I remember I was sitting in a friend's car when I got the first mixes back. Remember when we released the first 3 tunes?
Yep.
I think that was a year before, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 2019. Yep.
Yeah. And I remember hearing, because like I've known Mike for 15, 16 years. And he's mixed pretty much anything I've produced. So I've heard his mixes before. And with the Dead Set stuff, it wasn't like it was anything new, but it was crazy that I don't want to say moved, because that just sounds really not rock and roll. But it definitely, like, I had a giant smile on my face, because I thought the same thing. Like I thought that it sounded bigger than I thought we maybe were as a band at that point. And so it was kind of cool to have your recordings make you feel like you've got to kind of step up your game. And so that was kind of when we went on the road for the first time as Tense Machine. That was kind of the thing for me, is I was kind of, it took a couple shows to feel like, okay, now I'm kind of bringing it the way that the album brought it, I guess.
Right. And then for me, Dane, do you ever get feedback from people saying that, oh, you sound like so and so?
I have before, yeah, for sure.
What
And
did
it's
it
funny
make-
because, like, depending on what I'm singing, it changes.
What are usually the names that pop up? Because I have two that I.
Typically like Frank Sinatra.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Blue eyes.
No,
That's
I've
I had
I've
that on my list.
definitely
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've had it was funny. Back in the day I used to get Jeff Buckley every once in a while, but now I think especially the kind of music and the edge that we put on it, I definitely I've gotten the Dave Grohl thing. I don't think that I'm definitely that caliber, but yeah, no, I've heard a few different ones pop up. The other one that I've heard recently is Dave Grohl, and I never would have guessed that.
I thought
No.
that today too. There's definitely one of the tracks I got
No.
like a Foo Fighters vibe off of it for sure, man. 100%. I thought that today.
Okay,
I
for
couldn't
for
tell you
me,
which one it was though, because I wasn't paying attention to the names of the songs or anything. But I'll
for
have to
for me the
listen to you
first
later.
for me the first track on the actually the first few tracks, your voice reminds me of David Draymond and Miles Kennedy, a mixture of that.
I've
Oh,
actually I have gotten both of those before, yeah.
Yeah.
Go
And
ahead.
it was funny actually. That was one of the we did an episode of our I guess podcast thingy whatever where we talked about bad feedback. We did like the
Oh
reading the
yeah.
bad Twitter posts or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And there was one where the guy was I can't remember what he said, but I think he called me a David Draymond ripoff. And it's like
Oh.
I remember sitting there thinking, man, like I love his voice, but I never would have thought like I listened to Disturbed growing up, but I definitely never thought that I sounded like him.
Well, and that's the thing too. I was gonna see if you would bring it up yourself, because I know that David is not always a popular name to be compared to, I guess.
Really?
Yeah, like Disturbed in some circles is like, oh, that band. They always
Oh
sound the
man.
same, and you know.
What?
No, I definitely love him.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, me too. But I know some musicians are like, yeah, I don't want to be compared to that. I don't know why. But
Well,
Does
he
that's
that,
why
definitely
as a
has a very theatric voice.
as a musician, when you're putting out your own content and music and stuff like that, does it how does that make you feel when people are constantly comparing you to somebody else? Are you like, fuck, I'm my own person, I'm my own musician? Does that annoy you, or are you like, oh yeah, that's cool?
I think I do it myself so much that no, it definitely doesn't bother me at all. Because like,
Right.
man, the amount of times that even with actors, where after watching something, I'll be like, man, it seems like they were doing an impression of this guy at one point
yeah.
or whatnot. So I do it in my everyday life, and even like B will say when we're on the road, we constantly will be like, I the funniest one was Greta Van Fleet, because I remember waking up from a nap in the van and thinking that we were listening to Zeppelin that I never heard before.
I've never heard the Zeppelin tune before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
I
like, it's not
remember
Zeppelin.
I remember the first time I heard their what was their first release? Safari song?
Yeah,
Was
I
that
think
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
I heard it on the radio and I was like, I've never heard this what? And then I look on the RDS, I was like, Greta Van Fleet, what the fuck's that? And then I started reading up on them. I was like, holy shit, this is a new band.
Yeah, I
Like,
don't know
it-
if there's ever been a band that made so many people do a double take.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. And they get a lot of hate for it.
I love them. I think they
Yeah.
sound great.
Me too. And it's like, so what if his sound or their sound sounds like something else? I mean, Led Zeppelin did pretty good in the 70s. They're still doing pretty good.
Well, and that's like saying like how many guitar players go out and buy a Strat and try and sound like Jimi Hendrix,
Exactly.
like like or
Yeah.
or go get the Les Paul and try and sound like Jimmy Page. Like it
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
what's
That's
the
how you
saying?
learn.
Well, yeah, exactly. You try and if you like
Imitate.
something, you try and imitate it and learn how to do it.
Yeah, where it's
Imitation
then
is
you
the
make
best
it your
form of
own.
flattery.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I don't think
Cool.
it's super negative to be like compared to or have like notes of like other like famous singers in your voice, right? Like I guess can become a little bit negative if it's like too on the mark, hence like the Greta Van Fleet thing where they get a lot of flack for it, kind
Yeah.
of thing. But I think it's good to be like exactly if you hear little hints of that. Like the other day, I was like doing dishes and I had like a rock playlist going on and an Audio Slave song came on, and my girlfriend was like, "Oh, Dane sounds really good," and I was like,
Really?
audio. I'm like, that's Audio Slave, but like taking it, like that's
Wow.
great. Like that's
Yeah.
because there is, you know, it's good to have those little elements, especially if you're like, you know, if you're trying to be in a like a band where you're going to try and tour and sell records and be commercial, like you do have to sound like people have
Yep.
to like your band. If you're too off, like it's great to be like so unique that it's your own thing, right? But it's like if you know, we're all trying, let's face it, we're trying to make some money off of this and make a living off of it, so you kind of do have to be you know, unique enough that people that you stand out, but like familiar enough that people still like it and can identify with it. And
Right.
That's right. Yeah. I actually
Well, and I
had
remember here. Sorry.
I had it with you know, Big Wreck.
Oh yeah.
I think he sounds like Chris Cornell.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, that's
But he doesn't-
definitely one of.
And he doesn't get the shit for it like Greta Van Fleet gets.
He did back in the day though, for sure.
Really?
yeah, I was gonna
Maybe not like major scale, but at least in the circles that
Right.
that I was in, he definitely did, because like they really tried to market it that way too. Because at one point
Yeah.
it was
Oh,
like
okay.
they had him have the same like goatee
The
and
goatee. Okay.
and stuff like that. But either way, I don't think that he would have been displeased with it, but I do remember hearing stories of people saying that, you know, he sounded or he looked like Cornell, and him just kind of shaking his head.
Yeah.
But
Um,
he's definitely a more talented guitarist than Cornell was, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's insane, and I think he used to get the Cornell, especially during like when he went to like the Thornley days
Yeah.
of that band. He really like I remember hearing a lot the same thing, and that was what, like late 2000s when we would have opened them, and it was like, yeah, I'd hear people say like, oh, he sounds exactly like Chris Cornell. People would always be like telling me that. I don't know if he likes that.
Yeah.
no, right on.
Did you have any
So-
more questions? Because you had some burning questions that you couldn't wait for another episode. Were there any more?
No, nothing too fucking important. Just I'm curious about the album cover. Like, whose arm is that, and is it supposed to, like, what's the? I think I was just
save
reading too deep into it.
Yeah, let's save these questions for when Mike is here.
For
too.
next time, yeah.
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 Well,
Yeah,
and
we
that
can-
makes sense, because I think Mike was the one that found that picture.
Oh, so we
So it's
we
not
know
like
it's.
one of your guys' arms.
I was just about to say it's not Mike's hand
Well, that I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he found the picture.
on his phone. Oh yeah. I get it.
Yeah, it could, but it's funny because the first thing that I did when I saw that picture is I was like, where the hell did he get my hand from? Because and even my girlfriend was like, that looks like your hand.
Does look like your hand. It's true.
So maybe in the next episode we'll find out if it is your hand. Dun dun dun.
Maybe honestly, and that's the thing, like I could have been sleeping one night and he got a really good photo of my hand and then just put it in.
Well, I'll just tell you what I was thinking when I was looking at it. I definitely read too deep in it. Like, you probably would have thought I was high or something, but unless I hit the nail on the head. But like, so the hand is kind of like hit the water. So there's ripples in the water, but the album name is Echoes. And then I was thinking like how the like echoes and sound waves and stuff, and how maybe the ripples in the water represented the sound waves that are like spreading out. I don't know. Fuck. I was just like staring at it. Because
I'm just gonna say yes, you hit the nail on the head.
yeah, okay. Sure.
No,
Sure.
but I think that is kind of the beautiful thing about, you know, even I see you drinking a Pepsi. Did you get your points for that? Did you register?
Yeah, you bet. I
Send
stole
those
them.
in. Yeah.
You see
But
mine here.
Sponsor us.
Oh my
Yeah.
Sponsor
gosh.
us, Pepsi.
I've got Pepsi too.
So
Bispy.
Giant thing of yellow Pepsi. You know, it's
was
mango
clear
Minute Maid.
remember that?
I
that
saw that.
clear Pepsi. Yeah,
Wasn't there blue too?
I think so,
I think there's a blue one too.
and a cherry one.
Let's not talk
Really?
about Pepsi again.
Man, we got to get Pepsi as a sponsor. Pepsi Canada.
Be fantastic. I'll come
Oh, yeah.
visit you guys. But honestly,
Sure.
For
Hey,
me-
actually, yes, we want all of our guests, the cool ones anyway. We, we want all of our guests to come play here in Saskatchewan when we can.
Like when
that would be dope.
when you guys are when touring and everything is going on again, if you guys are out this way, we definitely want to meet up with you guys.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
We the trouble that we can get into will be it'll be like productive trouble.
That's right.
I have the feeling I have the feeling that Dane and Joel will be the ones in trouble, and then Mike, Brendan, and me will just try to hold you guys back.
Sit
The
back.
best
You guys
thing
are-
is that as long as we're filming everything,
Yeah, it's all good.
right.
it's all
Okay.
good.
Yeah. Yeah. When we're slapping the cuffs on, we'll be like, but we have a podcast.
Yeah.
Just make
And
it
then
like
the-
that scene in Trailer Park Boys when J-Rock's getting arrested.
And then the
Wait.
YouTube title would be Tense Machine on Sit Down Podcast being arrested or something like that.
Yeah. That'll hit 1 million views, hey?
For Pepsi points.
For Pepsi points. Trying to boys get arrested for bringing Pepsi points back.
Oh, we could do it.
Cool.
I think so. All right.
That's
Well,
awesome.
we'll let you guys go. For sure, you guys are like open door here. Anytime you guys want to come on here, hit us up. I started following you guys on Instagram and Twitter. So who runs the account anyway?
We all kind of take turns. Like Mike handles most of the Twitter stuff. Brendan is kind of the Spotify guru, and I've been doing a lot of the Instagram stuff, but we all kind of bounce on and off of each one. Twitter's the only one that I definitely don't know what the heck's going on.
I don't understand Twitter. I still don't get it. I've had it for
Yeah.
years. I'm just like, I've never really gotten into Twitter. I don't know.
This is
I don't
Joel's
even
cue.
have it
Where,
anymore.
this is Joel's cue where he's gonna say that he just joined Twitter. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Joel.
I just joined Twitter like 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
So I got
Well,
a
you know what?
massive
Just because of
26
that, Joel,
followers.
maybe I'll try and get back on Twitter. Just we can learn it
There you go.
together.
Sure, let's do it.
That's awesome.
All right, guys. Thanks very much for hanging out with us.
Thanks very much for having us, guys.
Yeah, we'll
Appreciate you guys.
ag-
Congratulations on the album too, man. It's a fucking banger. Love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much. Thanks for listening.
and we'll talk again.
Yep.
Yes, indeedy.
Sounds
Have a good night, guys.
Yeah.
Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba